And a good Wednesday afternoon to you. Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights, VELCO Weather Hazards Forecaster. This weather video driven by 802cars.com. Abe represents 802 Toyota, Twin Cities Subaru, and 802 Honda, all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. There's no Planet B, but here's our latest. Currently we have kind of a ring of fire setup where precipitation is kind of rolling along the top of a ridge along the periphery. This is an area of higher pressure located in the vicinity of Bermuda, and what we're seeing is these impulses working in within this stream here, just continuing. And this is going to be an impulse that's going to work in tonight. It's going to bring us a moderate shot of rain shower activity, and then it's going to taper off, and a little bit of drizzle, light sprinkles during the day on Thursday is forecast. Little zoomed out version here. We're seeing that ring of fire with moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico, working in around this area of ridge, a ridge of higher pressure. Out to the west of us, we have another cold shot with a trough working in across the central and northern Rockies, and also cold enough for some snow on the northern western periphery of this next disturbance. This is going to be moving through Vermont and keeping that wet snow a little bit to our north, but it's a close call once again up in the St. Lawrence Valley, Quebec City, and points north. Looking at the European time 6-hour increments here, you can see that precipitation forecast for this morning and then into this afternoon. Kind of breaks off, and this is the warm front that's working on through especially northern areas, and a little shot of moderate rain. Then that begins to exit. We dry out just a little bit, so better conditions along about Thursday into Thursday afternoon. We dry out during Thursday night, and then we're seeing more precipitation that's working its way sort of in a southwesterly flow across the Great Lakes, and that's our next shot of precipitation at moderate levels, it looks like, on especially later in the afternoon Friday, but mostly Friday night into the day on Saturday. Saturday, it looks like things begin to push on out and just very limited precipitation amounts. And then we're looking at another weather system, a little different ring of fire here, just another weather system that's working its way from southwest to northeast. And what this is going to do is it's going to push across mainly the southeastern one half of Vermont. Then we have a northern branch of the jet stream. It looks like it's going to push in another frontal boundary, introduce colder air as we get into Tuesday, and yet a third or fourth weather system that's going to work on in. And this is going to be on Tuesday night into Wednesday, and then it pushes on out. Maybe a little bit of snow on the backside of that is a possibility, and that is registering in the European ensemble forecast with the graphics below in this report. And then finally, we see some dry weather days coming, and this is going to be developing for the middle to end of next week. GFS ensemble centered on Montpelier, Vermont. You can see today's precipitation inbound here. This is for tonight. This is about 8 o'clock in the morning during the day tomorrow. Things kind of taper off for a little bit better conditions. Looks like a clear night later overnight, and then more precipitation begins to work on in. And you can see that it's just about every other day. Let's take a look at the total precipitation amount, the quantitative precipitation forecast. You can see that these increments, a little bit greater than half an inch, and then the one following that will produce another probably a little bit under a half an inch additional, but you can see how it adds up. And then we have still another weather system that's going to produce even more. And the good news is that the precipitation types, at least indicated by the GFS ensemble, is all basically rain. These are the chances of rainfall shown here. Now, using the 850 hectopascal temperature atop Mount Mansfield, roughly about that elevation, you can see that this is the 0-degree centigrade line. So it's all above the freezing mark until you get down here, way down about the 7th of May. Wind issues, not really a problem. It looks like there is a bit of a low-level jet, 45 knots, that affects us. It looks like a little bit later on tonight as that moderate punch of moisture kind of works on through, but not a big deal there. Checking 2-meter temperatures, you see a little bit of a warm-up in general, but it cools off again. It gets closer to the freezing mark eventually. And looking at dew point temperatures, No real big issue there. And as far as capes go, convective available potential energy, really nothing showing up there. And shear, about 40 knots showing over that one point. And in terms of snow, finally flatlining. Weather Prediction Center QPF, the blue line here is 1 inch amount, so that's a little bit less across portions of southern New England. We get into the sort of that 1 to 1.5, nearly 2 inches, and some of these purple across portions of the Ottawa Valley into the Adirondacks and parts of northern Vermont. That's going to be the main area for precipitation. That moderate shot tonight, and again, it looks like on Friday night. For my money, the big deal has been how cold it's been this spring, and it continues that way. We're looking at temperatures running about 3 degrees below normal, a little bit colder off the eastern seaboard here, east of New England, the Gulf of Maine. We have near neutral temperatures here, and notice a little bit warmer in some spots in the country. Now, about 3 days later, these are maximum high temperatures only. It looks like another reinforcing shot of colder than normal conditions, with a Canadian air mass starting to show weighted temperatures here for the next 7 days of high temperatures. And we're going to leave you on this note. These are sea surface temperatures, SSTs. So the anomaly of colder than normal in the vicinity of Nova Scotia and the Grand Banks and so forth. Note this little warm spot right here, and that is above 2.5 degrees in the vicinity of Long Island, New York City. And warmer than normal conditions here, colder here, a little bit warmer up here. This is part of that, what we call the warming hole, or hole in the warming of the North Atlantic. That is an area that's cooler than normal, and that continues that way. There's another one of those, it looks like south of Australia. That's it from here, Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.